You guys have asked and waited long enough. Today, I am going to be giving you guys the best big man dribble tutorial I can possible in NBA 2K23. Now, when I say big man dribble tutorial, I mean it. The build we're currently using is a 7'3" stretch that only has a 66 ball handle. And as you can see right here, we could cook up on this build in every single move you just saw right there. I'm going to teach you guys today. But let's get into it, man. Let's go. All right, so let's get started with this tutorial, man. So listen, let me show you guys the animations first before we go anywhere farther. You guys are going to need these animations to make sure that you could dribble properly, and it's going to be important for the tutorial. So let's take a look really quickly at the animations. Dribble style, there's going to be really two options. You can either use pro or you could use basic. I do not recommend normal, but I do recommend pro over basic. Now here's the reason why. When it comes to basic, you're going to get a better speed boost. I will be honest, but the problem is that with the speed boost you get from basic, you can only get it in one direction, and it's when you speed boost to the opposite hand that the ball is currently in. So let's say the ball's in the right hand and you want to speed boost to the left, you'll get a good speed boost in that direction, but you cannot speed boost to the same direction that the ball is in. So if it's in your right hand and you want to speed boost to the right, you're not going to get a good boost. But with pro, you're not going to get as good of a speed boost, but you can speed boost in both directions. So I could speed boost in either direction regardless of what hand the ball is currently in. That's why we use pro. When it comes to signature size ups, you have a couple options. The two I really like are Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kawhi Leonard. Giannis has a much lower stance and it has a much quicker cross. But when it comes to dribbling, I prefer Kawhi Leonard. You could also use Ben Simmons. That's something I've been using a little bit, but I've spent most of my time with either Kawhi or Giannis. And then if you can't use either Giannis or Kawhi, I would recommend you go with normal. Size up escape package, I recommend you go with normal. It's got a couple moves that we're going to use in it that I highly recommend you want to have. Moving crossover, there's two options that you can realistically use, the basic or the normal. If you're more of a slasher and you're going to take a lot of fast break opportunities to get dunks, this normal moving crossover is going to get you a lot of separation in those situations. So maybe you would want to prefer to have that. But if you're going to do a lot more standstill dribbling and you're not really going to be hunting for those fast break opportunities, I highly prefer you use basic moving crossover. You'll see why in a little bit. Moving behind the back, we only have one option, basic. Going on to moving spin, we're going to be using basic. This is how you get those really good basic one spins. This is what you need that for. Moving hesitation, we're going to be using normal. And then moving step back, we're going to be using normal as well. This is how you do this move called the Asta slide, which we'll show you guys in a little bit. It's actually one of the very few moves that are really good on this build, but I just don't use. But I'll show you guys how to do that. Triple threat style, I really like Michael Jordan. There's this really good speed boost that you get off of a spin when going to the left that you can use with the Michael Jordan triple threat. And then that's pretty much it when it comes to this. When it comes to my shot creating animations, KD pull up, normal spin jumper, KD hop jumper. This is the money right here. Post fade, pro 2, post hook, Joel Embiid, post hop shot, Kobe Bryant. And the jump shot, that's not what this video is for. Nah, I'll give you the jump shot. I'll give you the jump shot real quick. This is it right here. Base, Kevin Durant, release 1 Tim Duncan, release 2 Dirk Nowitzki, 50-50 blend. Okay, simple. Moving on. All right, let's actually get to the tutorial now. Let me make sure everything's set. So let's start with the standard combos that you guys have seen me do in pretty much every single video, which is going to be this stuff right here. Right? You guys have seen me do this in almost every single video. This little cross and then snatchback type of animation. So the way that you do this is very simple. You're going to hold right trigger and then you're going to flick up on your right stick 2 times. So 1, 2. And it's going to get you that animation right there. We use that a lot, and that's going to be based off of your moving crossover. So if you're using the normal moving crossover, it's going to look a little different from what you're seeing right now. I'm currently using basic. So this is what it looks like again with the basic moving crossover, and it's a very nice move. It gets you a little bit of separation. And when you do that moving cross, you can actually flick up once and keep on going with it. So you could do this right here and keep running with it if you want to. That's not something I do all the time, but it's something you could add just so they have to actually respect you doing that crossover, if that makes sense. So that's the moving crossover that I like to use, and that's the baseline of the combos. And then the thing that I do along with that is the regular snatchback. Now, the way that you do that snatchback is you're gonna hold right trigger, and then you're gonna flick up on the right stick, and then hold down on the left stick. So it's gonna look like something like this. Hold on. It's gonna look something like this right here. So what you guys will see me do a lot. So what you guys will see a lot is I'll do this first combo right here, and then I'll put the snatchback in off of that. So that's how you do that. You're just gonna hold right trigger, double flick on the right stick up, and then do the snatchback, which is flicking up on the right stick and then holding down on the left stick while holding right trigger. That's basically it for that. It's just a very, very simple move. And then once you do the snatchback, as you see right here, you can speed boost off of this and take a shot, right? Very simple stuff. And then let's talk about the size of escape package next, because that's going to be a thing that you're going to be using a lot as well. This is why we're using the normal size of escape. You get this wide cross right here when you flick up and to the opposite hand of the ball. So let's say the ball's in the left hand, right? Right now, what I'm gonna do is hold right trigger and flick the right stick up to the right, and that's gonna get you this kind of wide cross that you can get, right? So you're just flicking up and to the opposite hand the ball's currently in. So right here, I'm flicking up right while holding right trigger. Right here, I'm flicking up left while holding right trigger. Very simple move, very nice to combo in after doing this snatch back, right? Because you get a little bit more separation with it. So that, basically, holding right trigger the entire time, flick up, hold back, and then opposite hand. Very simple moves, okay? Nothing crazy. And then another very simple move that you could do with the size up escape package is just your hop back. And you don't even have to do this year while holding right trigger. You could literally just flick back on your right stick, and you're gonna get that move right there. Then there's another move, which I believe is basically called the hesi step, which is what you're going to do is right here, you can see the ball is currently in my right hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick my right stick to the hand the ball that is currently in. So here I'm flicking it to the right, and then I'm going to flick my left stick to the left afterwards. So it's going to look something like this right here. I'll do it again. That's how you do it. So now we'll do it the opposite way. Ball's in the left hand, and then you just flick the right stick to the left, and then flick the left stick to the right. I did it wrong. Hold on. There we go. Just like that. Very simple stuff. And then this is another move that I really like doing, which is basically a behind the back misdirection. And this is something I really like speed boosting to the direction that the ball will be in after the end of the move. So right here, the ball is in my left hand. And the way you do this move is you're going to hold right trigger. You're going to flick the right stick down into the opposite hand. So you're going to go, since the ball's in your left hand, it's going to go down to the right. And then your left stick's going to go to the left after you do that with your right stick. So basically that right there. And then now the ball's in the right hand. So while holding right trigger, we're going to take the right stick, flick it down to the left, and then right afterwards, flick the left stick to the right. So something like that right there. Now what I like doing with this is that once the ball gets in the other hand, I like speed boosting off of that and taking a shot. And as you can see right there, a shot goes in because I have like full stamina, so I'm not gonna miss. So that's something you could combo in. So let's take, for example, right, the holding right trigger and flicking up on the right stick, right? You get that. And then you could do the snatch back. And then you could do this move, right? These are all things that I've already taught you, and you could combo them in together. And it's very simple, very effective. You get a little bit of separation with it. There's a lot of moves that you do have at your disposal. They're not going to get as much separation as like the actual dribble moves that you can unlock to getting a 70 ball handle, but you can absolutely dribble while having a decent ball handle rating. Another move that you could do with your size up escape package is you can hold right trigger and flick down diagonal to the opposite ball hand. So basically right here, the ball is in the right hand, and then I'm going to flick down to the left, and then now I get flicked down to the right. And you can kind of combo this together and do this little animation right here. Kind of get a little shifty with it. It's a nice move. It's a little bit faster than this big wide cross right here, but you could kind of combo these back and forth, kind of get the defense leaning one way or the other, and then take a shot. Probably missed that because my stamina was low. Yep. I can't shoot with low stamina to save my life. I guess now what I could do is I could kind of show you some of the shot creation moves that I use, because realistically, all of the moves that I do are just with the size up escape package, and it's going to be very similar to any other dribble tutorial, right? So pretty much everything I taught you, you can learn in another video. It's just the animations will look slightly different. But we could talk a little bit about the shot creating moves. So let's talk about this Kevin Durant hop jumper. This is my bread and butter. This is a move that I use very often. There's a lot of different unique moves that you could do within it, right? So big tip, and this is the way that I've been shot creating for a very long time. You want to do all of these moves with using your right stick. You don't want to use the X button or the square button, depending on which console you're on. I prefer using the right stick for all of these moves, and you're going to hold right trigger while doing all of these as well. So the standard step back, let's say we're running in one direction. So I'm going to run to the right, and then I'm going to do this little step back animation that you're going to see right now. I just started running, and then we shoot that. It wasn't early, but as you can see, it gets a lot of separation, right? So you basically go run, hold down on the right stick, and that's going to be green. Okay. Now, if you want to use these step backs, I highly recommend you run Space Creator as high as possible. I use it on Hall of Fame, and it helps me make those step backs at a very high rate. There's a couple other options that you could do along with that. So let's say we're still running to the right here, right? As you're about to see. Now, you got to be careful with your angles, okay? Because sometimes if you're moving too direct to the basket, it'll start doing a dunk animation when you're trying to do a step back, okay? So you have to be careful. Try and take a little bit of a wider angle so the hop jumper will activate. So right here, moving to the right, we're going to actually hold the stick to the left, and it's going to get us that move right there. This is something that I really like to do when I'm spotting up in the corner. So let's say, right, for example, I'm here in the left corner. I'm going to drive and then hold on my left stick and get that animation right there. Okay, Very simple, very easy move to do. I'll show you again. And what you're doing is when you drive, hold right trigger and then hold left stick, and you're going to get this move right here. Very simple, very easy. Quick, very quick kill, okay? Very quick move. Let me show you, and you can do that to both sides as well. Let me show you a move that I've been doing recently. And the way you want to do this is you want to have the ball starting in your right hand, okay? Now, you remember that little crossover combo I showed you guys earlier by holding the right trigger and double flicking up on the right stick? We have a little bit of an escape jumper that I like to do out of that animation. So after you do that double flick, what you're then going to do is still hold right trigger and then hold the right stick to the right. And you're going to get this move right here. Sometimes you'll get that move if you do it too early. That's not what we're looking for. Let me just warn you guys on that one. You don't want that move there. Again, so start the ball in your right hand, double flick, and then you're going to get this little escape right there. It's a very sneaky move that you can do if the defense is sagging off a little bit. Ball in the right hand, and then what you're going to want to do is while you're double flicking, you're reading the defense, see if they're sagging off a little bit, and then you can hit that move right there. It's a little sidestep, basically. Very nice, very easy move. Like if you're sitting at the 3-point line, this is a very quick kill for a 3. Just double flick, and then hold the stick to the right, get this little sidestep, and it goes in. It's a very good move, very easy move. You'll be shooting with very high stamina, so it has a high percentage of going in as long as it's open. I think we're going to break this dribble tutorial into 2 separate parts because there's a lot of moves that I can teach you guys that I don't really use, so I don't have any practical applications for a lot of the moves. So for example, you can use this Asta slide right here, which is basically while you're running, you flick down on the right stick and it's going to give you that animation. Now, one thing you can do with that is you could do your hop jumpers out of that, right? Which is a nice way to get a 3-pointer off, but that's not a move I really use too often. I don't use the Asta slide very often at all. Obviously, you could also do your basic spins, right? So basically, let's say you're running in one direction. You're going to spin the stick, the right stick, in a counterclockwise direction if it's in your left hand, and then a clockwise direction if it's in your right hand. So let's say ball's in my right, speed boost, spin back. Sometimes if you don't take the right angle, you're going to get that spin animation right there. I'm not really an expert when it comes to basic spins, and I'm not really an expert when it comes to using the Asta slide. So if you want to go learn how to use those, you're probably going to have to go find some other tutorial. But just know, with everything I've taught you so far already, you're really not going to need those moves. But I think that's going to be pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and that's going to be it. I'm out. Peace.